All right, welcome everyone to the final winter edition of the Coaches Connection. Thanks again for joining us. And I've got my festive green on for you today. So hope everybody's doing well, enjoying the holidays as they get ready for Christmas before you take a little bit of a break. Hopefully everybody will take a little bit of a break. So here's the agenda for today. We're lucky enough to have Simon Collins here with us, and we'll introduce him here in a second. And then Chris and myself will kind of give you updates as to what's going on within our programs, within the Cups, programs, competitions, and obviously coaching education and ODP. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce Simon Collins, who's, I think, 4 or 5 months into the job right now, has had a little bit of time to reflect on a couple of great events that took place down in Florida. And looking forward to hearing his reflections and things that are going on. So, Simon, over to you.
No, thanks, Adam, and thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. It's been quite the 4 month spell, to be honest. I didn't think I was able to get as many air miles in as I have over the last few months, but it's been good. It's been exciting. What's really exciting is the addition of National League. When I say addition, National League coming back to what it was previously, which I think has been well received by a large majority of clubs across the country. So that's super positive. And then the guys worked hard through the summer and early fall with regards to the National League Pro, which is the events that you're referring to that's just taken place in Round Rock and then in Florida. And these have been super high level. And one of the surprising things, particularly at the U14 event in Round Rock in Austin, Texas, was the number of MLS scouts that actually attended. From their standpoint, they were really impressed with the levels of performance. They really liked the event and the structure and how it was put together. But importantly, the just realization that that's a really important age for them guys to try and get out there and recruit. So by bringing the top teams from around the country to the same place made their life an awful lot easier. And again, we're all in the business of trying to provide opportunities for kids to play. And that was the cherry on the top for me. They came out, they were really respectful of what was going on, and they certainly targeted a few individuals. So hopefully we can see some of them guys that's come out of the State Association, International League, and onto National League Pro, hopefully playing in some of the MLS stadiums in a few more years to come. Then sort of transitioning into the Florida events for the 15 through 19s, obviously it's a return to Disney's Wide World of Sport, ESPN. I mean, it's a second to none facility. It was really super high end, well presented. The buzz around the place was really, really evident. The energy just by the players as they walk up into ESPN, they go past the globe, and we had the big "Earn Your Place" sign out at the front, which I don't think a team walked past it without at least getting a photograph at some point. But I mean, that's all the fun and funky stuff. The real stuff happened on the soccer fields. From various, I think we had representation from 38 states. I mean, in total, the National League Pros got around 480 teams playing in it. So we had the majority of them out there over the last 2 weekends. And one of the real pleasing things is we had 400 plus college coaches register, and over 100 actually register on site for each of the events. The ones that didn't get there, they signed up for the video footage and the analysis. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware, Adam, but this year going into National League Pro, we brought a couple of additional partners on board. One company called ProScore, which is breaking down the game, looking at intelligent on the ball, off the ball movements, and helping the teams with a better understanding of what the game is and how they can educate players going forward. They operate in and around Europe with some of the big Premier League teams, offering them scouting opportunities. So it was really exciting to see them guys in and around. And I mean that they got a huge buzz going, that all the players were going up asking to take photographs with them, and the social media presence sort of made it really exciting. Over the next week or so, hopefully them hundreds and hundreds of games are going to be analysed and broken down, and we'll start to see the information for that just start to go out to the clubs, which is super exciting, because I know from a coach myself, I have one particular opinion of how a game's played. I'm interested to see how they viewed it and what they see as the strengths and weaknesses for various people on the field as well. The second sort of partner that complemented Pro Score is Stat Sports. I'm not sure if you're aware of Stat Sports. It's a GPS wearable device. It's used by many of the MLS clubs. The England national team use it. I think 50% of the English Premier League clubs use it. And we had it on 2 feature fields, both boys and girls. And that was really, really well received. I mean, obviously, there were no pressure on anybody to wear it because they're going into a high-level competition. But for the ones that did, it was well received. And again, the whole point of this is just elevating the performance and trying to help players reach the potential, wherever the potential may be, bringing some clarity and realization to where the game's at, what they might need to do going forward, and how we can assist in that way. Because the one thing I stress to our team on the league side is we don't develop players. We actually develop the platform that the players play on. It's the clubs that do all the hard work Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday to develop the players. So we've got to try and do as much work for them so that when they come to the events, everything's taken care of, so the coaches can just go forward and do what they do best and help the kids sort of showcase themselves so that they can take the game to the next level, whatever that level may be. So yeah, it's been quite a whirlwind few months. We've got a few things in the pipeline going forward with regards to elite performance tiers and so on and so forth, which we should see some announcements coming out really soon, which we're all super excited about. And we've got a few of our partners that's fully ingrained into and fully committed into some of these new things that's coming along. So again, our focus is the player, and as long as we keep the player at the center of every decision that we make, I think we won't be too far away in helping the clubs with the development of the players and making sure that the clubs stay healthy and progressive as well. So yeah, it's been fun, it's been exciting, and we've just taken the first couple of steps forward, but we've got far more steps to take yet to get where we need to be. So yeah, hope that helps, Adam.
That's great. No, appreciate it. It's a great recap in terms of the information. And certainly, if anybody has some questions, feel free to throw that into the Q&A, and we'll certainly stick around and try and answer some of those questions. Especially, I see quite a few people that have attended the event in the past few weeks. So feel free to throw some questions in there. Maybe Simon, could you chat a little bit about the upcoming events that are coming up after the new year, in terms of what's coming up?
Yeah, we have the 14s are back in Florida, or in Florida, should I say. First week of December, then February we're off to Tampa for the second round of National League Pro for the 15s through 19s, and then March I think we're off to Arizona. So we certainly travel the country with the events to try and give everybody an opportunity for a shorter flight, if you will. It's not easy trying to please and make things easily accessible for everybody, because as you know as well as I do, there's only one part of the country where we can get programming confidently without having severe weather, and it tends to be in the southern states. So we've got them going forward. Obviously, we'll be at the convention, so anybody that's on here that wants to come and chat to us, we'll have a booth in the exhibit hall. Feel free to come and find us. We'll tell you more. The new announcements should all be made by the convention as well. So I imagine there'll be a great deal of people wanting to know what that is, how it is, how do I access it, and what does that mean for my club. One thing I will share is US Youth Soccer has done a super job this year of making sure that the facilities that we go to are really, really top notch. Disney was amazing. really, really good. And to say that it had the number of games played on it over 2 weekends by that final day on the Monday that's just gone. Yes, the fields are discoloured somewhat, but the sheer fact that they were still being played on is a credit to them. And for anybody that's not been to Champions Gate, that facility is used by many an MLS professional organisation for their pre-season training. International teams use it also, so that's another super facility. And then we head down to Tampa for the Soccerplex, and then Lakewood Ranch, which held our nationals last year. So again, only targeting the top venues. Then when we head over to Legacy, a brand new facility out there, which again, just trying to find the best. That's what we're trying to do.
Sure. That's great. In terms, I know you mentioned about the college coaches, Chris, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but in terms of the college coaches, I know you said there was a lot there. Any feedback from them in terms of, obviously you said the level of play was great. I'm sure they were excited about it, but any feedback you can share about what the college coaches were saying?
Yeah, it's a strange one, because when you get a facility like Disney and you've got 17 fields going on at the same time, and the same age groups operating at the same time, the colleges are pulled all over the place, trying to see the ones they want. So it's important that the players leading up to the event have reached out to the college coaches to make sure they know where they're at. We provided them all with a player profile booklet, up-to-date schedule, so they could manage it themselves and get around, which the feedback from the colleges was great. They said it made life really easy for them to get to. But I think I spoke to a college coach in and around a team from up in the northeast, and he asked about a team called Alley Cats. He asked about some of the players and bits and pieces. There wasn't a single player left on the roster that wasn't already committed through National League. So it was really refreshing, really positive. And while some of the players go into these events trying to get them extra looks to get the kind of secure themselves a place in college, there were quite a few teams that were already heading to these events that had already secured and committed and so on and so forth. So that was really pleasing as well. One of the colleges reflected in it. He actually said, he says, do you know what? He says, this is an absolute gold mine. He says it's untapped. Our noisy neighbours over on the other side of the track allude to having the bigger the better and everything else that goes on. One of the college coaches there says, please don't share just how good this is, because more people will want to find out and want to attend it. So it was a weird compliment, let me put it that way. But the ones that were on site, obviously we provide all the hospitality for them, make life easy for them to get around. But the ones that were not there, they're getting all the game analysis and the breakdowns of the video. So any player that's targeting a particular college, and the list is on the website, by the way. Mm-hmm. Any player that's targeting a college on that list, just reach out to us, make sure we get you the footage and the analysis so you can share that with the college.
That's great. Yeah, I'm sure we got maybe a few college coaches on here today too, so that'd be great. Appreciate it. Chris, was you going to say something? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just had I know for the PRO portion of the National League, there's set criteria on how someone earns their spot into there. But you guys also have that showcase series as part of this upcoming events. Can you let the coaches on here know a little bit, how they potentially could get involved in that, if applications for this year are still open, and if not, in future years, those teams that may not have earned that spot into the pro level, what those opportunities may provide to them?
Yeah, certainly, Chris. The idea again is to provide everybody an opportunity to elevate the game, take it to the next level, and we hear that next level said by kids in interviews at the field and so on and so forth. But in reality, we can only take a kid to the white line. When they walk over it, it's all down to them and how they perform when they're on it. So we provided, it all comes down to opportunities to play. And while National League Pro is his qualification top 2 in each conference for etc. 48 teams or so in age group, 480 teams or wherever that is. The showcase is the alternative. If you finished outside of National League Pro, you then get a second bite of the cherry, if you will, to get to another national event that's got some equally high-level competitive teams playing in there. For the P1 teams, it's mandated that they go to make sure that they give themselves the looks. For the P2 teams, it's not. It's down to them by choice. What's been a blessing and a curse is the interest in Florida, because that one sold out super quick. So that's been full for quite a while, and we've had to look at expanding beyond the current facility to try and add some more fields to accommodate more teams that want to head down to that particular event, which we're doing. And some clubs see that the registration link opens and then instantly it's closed again because it's just such high demand. I believe we do have a few spots left available for the Arizona event. So if anybody's looking for that type of showcase, then I would get in early, because it won't be long until that one's closed also. But yeah, really well received. Trying to, as you know, Chris, it's a balancing act, trying to put these on the calendar without conflicting with high school, without conflicting when teams are out of season, in season, and so on and so forth. So you take a leap of faith, making sure that you do things in the best interest of everywhere. And sometimes you just get some bits wrong and it conflicts with something. And we try to do our best, but so far they seem to be working. And if there's a need to add more, we will. It's not our intention to do so. But the 2 showcase seems to tick the boxes for everybody right now.
That's great. We appreciate that. So far, you must be answering everybody's questions, because we don't have any questions in the question box here. But again, if anybody does, feel free to pop them into the Q&A. Moving forward, I know you've got a lot of announcements coming up, obviously different things. Is there anything that you could kind of quickly share as to the future within the next 5 years, maybe down the road, as to what you think you might be looking at in terms of National League?
Great loaded question. Yeah, I mean, we can't stand still. Mm-hmm. Soccer doesn't stand still. You're a coach, educate yourself. The licensing moves on. The way we teach the kids changes constantly, and so on and so forth. So for us at USU Soccer to think that with a be all and end all, and this is it, and this is how it's going to be forever and a day, we'd be kidding ourselves. So we're constantly reflecting and evaluating on what we are. We have to change a few things, and how we operate, and what we've done in the past just simply doesn't work. Not because of anything anybody else has done. It's just times change. The game's quicker. How we schedule, it's different. There's a lot more opportunities for outside influences for the players. We've also, now with modern day technology, we've got to be cognitive of the periodization of a player as well, and how many games we expect them to play. So some of the things going forward will be more about higher, more appropriate level competition rather than just competition for the sake of it. Mm-hmm. Trying to bring some of that into play and manage the load on a player through some sensible and strategic offerings going forward. And I know I'm dancing around your question a little bit because I know exactly what it's going to look like, but time will tell. But there's a mess out in youth soccer right now. There's lots of organizations that allude to be something that they're not. USU Soccer has the infrastructure. It's been around a long time. Love it or hate it, depending on how long you've been around it. But the one thing it does have a home for every level of player. From the beginner, the grassroots, all the way through to the affiliate member leagues and on to National League Pro that currently sits at the apex right now. So that's something to be proud of, because as a club, if we can get this right going forward, we should be able to capture everything within a club under one carding system, which will obviously save mum and dad an awful lot of money, make the business side of running clubs a little easier and a little bit more streamlined without having to go through various different organizations. Because I know from the club world, club administration is not easy. and it's easy for people to get confused with different rules on different platforms. So going forward, it's our intention to bring everything under one umbrella, that umbrella being US Youth Soccer. So we've got a home for every single player and every single level. And the key is providing opportunities for them players to develop, to move up and down that pathway, if you will, that aids the development of the player. So if the player's pushing and needs challenging more, then we need to provide that opportunity. But also, if the players looks like they need to be pulled back a little bit, we've got to create that safe game day environment for them to do so without feeling like they've failed in any way, shape or form. So a lot of the stuff going forward is about bringing everything under one umbrella and being a one-stop shop for everything. And that's going to mean some quite significant changes to how we operate at US Youth Soccer, which we're all super, super excited about.
Great. I think we've just came up with a new tagline, hashtag home for every player, US Youth Soccer. So I think that's pretty good. So I think the future looks very bright. So that's great. We do have a question that came in. Wes says, thanks. He was asking about hotel blocks and housing information for the Tampa National League Showcase. Will that open up through Anthony Travel?
Should do, yeah. If you don't hear anything soon, send an email to the National League at usyouthsoccer.org email address, and they'll get all the information out to you as quick as possible.
Great, awesome. Well, I think that's fantastic. Great reflection, good information. We've got some things coming up, which is great. Good to hear about what's happening. Hopefully, a lot of these coaches, and I'm guessing a good portion of them, will be in Kansas City at the convention. So hopefully it's okay for them to come by and say hello at the booth, as you mentioned. So I'm sure they will. But again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to pass them on to me or to Chris, and we'll definitely pass them on to Simon. But I really appreciate your time today, Simon, in terms of jumping on and answering a couple of questions and certainly talking about what took place recently and what the future holds.
I appreciate it. And good luck to everybody, and happy holidays, and spend time with your family, and try not to eat too much turkey.
That's true. All right.
Thanks,
Simon.
guys.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. We're going to move on to Chris. He's going to share some updates in terms of our programs and competitions, and certainly things coming up.
Can you see the screen there?
Yep, all good.
All right, morning everybody. We're going to move through just some quick updates on what we have planned for the spring, a look ahead to the fall, and just a few other things we want to touch base on as everyone plans for 2022. First up, a reminder of what spring cup competitions will be offered. Registration for all of these is now live and up on our website. Obviously, the State Cup and President's Cup are our two main ones. Those will be held for the 13s and 14 girls, as well as 13 through 19 boys. Last year, for these competitions, it went to 20U. That was a one-time change from US Youth Soccer to try to allow those players that missed out due to COVID the opportunity to still compete. But again, it'll be back to the traditional 19U being the oldest age group. And then our third state cup competition that we'll be doing is the Illinois Cup. Kind of what Simon talked about, having a platform for all levels of teams. The Illinois Cup offers two levels, a gold, which is open to any level team, including those that fail to make the President's Cup, and a silver, which is specifically for those teams that play in third or C level divisions of league play and below that. So in addition to cups, the state premiership application window is also open now. That'll be also for the 13 through 19 boys, as well as 13 through 15 girls. We do offer a 15 girls division for those teams that may have players that were kind of caught in 8th grade due to the age group change US Youth or US Soccer did a few years ago. So that's an open division. It doesn't impact promotion or relegation in the fall. It's just a playing opportunity. Again, these applications are open now. And then the other thing is what we added last year with Midwest Conference moving the start of the U13 division to the fall season for all 2010 teams that are interested in playing in the fall Midwest Conference above a qualifying division. You need to participate in our 12U qualifying competition. This is played 11v11. You should expect somewhere between 8 to 10 games, depending on how many teams apply. And then ultimately you play against all the teams in your division. And then we use that as our ranking tool for placement in the Midwest Conference in the fall. This application also is up on our website as well. Just some important spring dates here, just so I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just highlight a few of them. Each of the league registration deadlines are listed up on there. A reminder that you have to be registered to one of our member competitive leagues to be eligible for any of these spring competitions. And those leagues are Central Illinois Youth Soccer League, Illinois Women's Soccer League, SLISA Illinois, Iowa, YSSL, and LDE is our newest competitive league that will be joining us in the winter and in the spring here. So you must be registered as a competitive team in one of those leagues in order to be eligible for any of those competitions. The state premiership application deadline is February 4th. The Cup registration deadline is February 18th. The State Cup brackets will be announced. The State Cup and President's Cup brackets will come out on March 4th. Notice all of this is prior to any of the league scheduling meetings. And with this, we hope that this will allow teams to appropriately plan to avoid conflicts with cup dates, as well as their league games for those teams or any other teams that a coach may be coaching. April 1st is when we need the information about graduation conflicts, and we'll go over that more for those teams that register. It helps us to set our schedule and allows us the best opportunity to avoid high school and 8th grade graduations where we can. Open Cup games, we're going to get as many of them played on the 16th of April. For those in which that are trying to play into State Cup, but then lose and then look to continue into President's Cup, we'll look to bring those teams back on April 30th, or we'll also allow some scheduling flexibility to play within that time. The reason we have that split is Rockford is hosting Midwest Conference the 22nd through the 24th. But again, that's something we'll go over in the spring competition discussion. And then as far as play dates, May 15th will be when teams left to have their home team host deadlines. We start bringing teams to Rockford May 20th through 22nd. Included in that is the President's Cup quarterfinals. It's a new addition to the event. We started that in the fall. So now we will have quarterfinals, top 2 teams from each group for President's Cup. Those will play on 5/22. Another change with President's Cup is now each team will have at least one home team host game that they'll host. And then over Memorial Day weekend, we have the President's Cup semis and finals, as well as the State Cup quarters and semis. And then the following weekend, first weekend in June, is the State Cup finals, as well as the Illinois Cup semis and finals. We have moved the Illinois Cup elimination rounds off of Memorial Day weekend to try to clear some things up for those teams who may be more inclined to participate in a Memorial Day tournament. And it allows us a little more field flexibility for the President's Cup and State Cup quarterfinals and elimination rounds that we need to get done so teams can be prepared for regionals. Midwest President's Cup regionals are middle of June, 16th through 20th. That'll be in St. Louis. Midwest Regional Championships will be hosted in Westfield, Indiana at Grand Park, end of June. The National President's Cup is July 7th through 10th, being held in Greensboro, North Carolina. And the 19th through the 24th is the U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships. And they recently announced that will be played at in Orlando at the Disney Complex, same place where Simon was talking about that had recently hosted National League. So should be a great venue for that event. And then just looking forward to the fall as teams are looking at their 2022 calendar. Here are the planned Cup events for fall: State Cup, President's Cup, and Illinois Cup for our high school age girls. And then the Junior Cup will be back again in the fall. Our plan going forward is to only run the Junior Cup in the fall, which we had planned to do pre-COVID. In 2021, we just did it in the spring and fall in order to allow those teams that had missed that opportunity the chance to compete. We're also going to be adjusting the dates of those a little bit to try to, again, alleviate some conflicts for league play and things like that. And I'll touch on that here in a minute. We'll also be looking to bring back our Back to Soccer Festival, which is for our 8U through 10U teams. It'll be a preseason event. We're looking to hold that in August 20th through 21st. Again, this is just a fun event. We'll have some additional off the field stuff for teams, and more info will be coming that in the coming months. But if you had previously participated, we had lots of inquiries about it, and we're hopeful to bring it back in 2022. Again, the state premiership will be for 13 through 19 girls and 13 through 15 boys in the fall. Another thing that we are looking at, we did an initial discussion with this with our board on Saturday, and we have talked to quite a few coaches about this. We're looking at going forward for our 12U qualifier, making this a year long from fall into spring competition to do for a couple of reasons. One, it would allow all of the teams that are interested in playing to play against all of the competitions instead of us being split into divisions of 8 or 9 and having 2 groups of 8 or 9. We could, in theory, have one large group of 18 and teams play those 17 games over a full soccer year. We think this could also provide some additional scheduling flexibility for teams to be able to have an entire soccer year in which to play these games and adjust, as opposed to trying to get them all done in the spring when Mother Nature sometimes isn't the most cooperative. We're in the very initial parts of this. We expect to have a full layout and format for this for you guys after the first of the year. And certainly you will know of any of these plans prior to tryouts and registrations and things like that for the fall. I just saw a question popping up. Would we be wanting to play these 9v9 or 11v11? Yes, it would be played at 11v11. That's the format we do it in now, as it's planning, it's allowing the kids to get used to that playing format, because when they go into the beginning of the Midwest Conference season, they're playing 11v11 and they're playing for Premier 1, Premier 2 slots. Now the way we do it, teams obviously have that spring to play a 9v9 and then go into 11v11 in the spring. Again, this potential new format could allow for teams to have teams in 9v9 league competitions, in addition to then combining those teams into 11v11, so that they can do both within the fall and then into the spring, and you can set your schedule how you would like to allow for that transition best for your teams. Again, we'll have some more. We have more discussions to have with technical leadership. We have talked to coaches about this already, so we'll have more information for everybody in the coming weeks. We just wanted to get this out on the radar. And then we had another question about whether they go directly into Premier 1 or Premier 2 in their first season of the fall. No, it'll still be how they had it for this fall, where we do our qualifier in the spring. It gives us our ranking of teams. We then submit those rankings to the Midwest Conference, who then place the teams into the divisions they're looking to do it in. We don't have any other than providing that rankings. They set the divisions and all that stuff. And from there, you'll play to determine who's going into Premier 1 and Premier 2. So that is set to continue as of now. Whether Midwest Conference were to change anything like that, we haven't been made aware of that. And I see there was another question about other states. Yes, other states have their own individual qualifying competitions. Some run a tournament that sets them. Some of them have state leagues in which they use that criteria. We have done a variety of options in the past. For those of you who have been around, we used to do a tournament, over a weekend, and then you'd have teams that didn't get to play other teams and things like that. So we transitioned to the season-long competition a few seasons ago. And we found that because it allows for now teams to play most teams, it gives us a fair assessment. But we think by allowing teams to play all teams that are interested, again, it eliminates the potential for a group of death and things like that. So we're just looking for the most equitable on-field opportunity to provide a ranking to get teams into the right position. And then again, we're pretty far off from here, but just wanted to throw fall dates for everybody so that they can get those on the calendar. No significant changes from what we've done the last few years, following the same format. Skipping a weekend between our President's Cup being concluded and the semifinals of State Cup because of the Midwest Conference tournament end of October, early November. And then a couple of things just upcoming here in the next few months. We have our Futsal State Cup coming up in end of January, boys playing on the 29th and girls playing for the 30th. We had a registration deadline of this past Monday. We do still have spots available in all age groups. So if you're still looking to participate in this event, please email me or go. We have the registration link still open, so you can just go in there and register. And what's new for this year is U.S. Youth Soccer has launched a Futsal National Championship. So the winners of the Illinois event for the U13 through U17 age groups would then advance to that national event in February. Granted, it's something you want to do, and that option of whether to look to participate in that or not is in your registration there. So again, we've extended the registration through Sunday. Then just a couple of things for January as well, some additional webinars because our next Coaches Connection won't be until early March. Tentatively, January 6th, I'm still looking to finalize the dates with Got Sport. We're looking to host another Got Sport webinar as everything has transitioned from the old Got Soccer system to Got Sport, including our spring competitions for cups and state premiership. We want to make sure everybody is familiar as they can be. I know it's been a very tough learning curve with Got Sport. So we're hoping to have a very early January webinar again with them to go over what they have, how to use their new system. And then hopefully this would also allow those of you that want to set up meetings with them at the Coaches Convention, that opportunity as well. January 13th at 10 a.m., we're going to do a webinar specifically about the spring cup competitions and our other events that we'll have going on this spring that I touched base on in the beginning of these slides. We'll get more into the specifics. So we'll do this, that'll be live. We'll also record it, but based on some of with the break we've had with COVID and the transition to the new GOT sports system, we feel we should have an open webinar to offer some questions to be asked during that. And then we're also looking at doing a February, a still to be determined date in February for a marketing webinar where we can talk about ways Illinois Youth Soccer can help you with some promotion of your club and some useful tools and tips and things like that. So that is all I have. I feel we've got a couple of.
There's just one last question in the chat there in the Q&A. I don't know if you can answer that.
Yeah, has there been discussion with state groups and National League about how to qualify the same across the board? There have. Unfortunately, there are each state. Obviously, one of the biggest issues with U.S. Youth Soccer is there's different state associations for each organization. They have different formats. There's different there. Whereas with Illinois, each state is allowed a specific amount of teams into each age group for Midwest Conference. Some states are more restrictive on who they allow to participate in Midwest Conference, whereas we're a little bit more open to allowing teams the opportunity to participate on that platform. So I think getting a unified qualification system for the conferences is hard to do just because of the different ways each state does it. It's a discussion that's continually had all the time, whether it be state cups and president's cups and all that sort of stuff. But there still is a little bit of individuality allowed for each state on how it works best for them.
Great. Thanks, Chris. And again, we'll have the Q&A open if anything pops up or any questions you have for ourselves. We'll definitely stick around for a little bit. So appreciate your time. So just want to kind of finish up with just a couple of quick updates in terms of coaching education on ODP. Obviously, this is my normal PSA announcement. If you have new coaches, make sure they go through the Learning Center. Make sure that you have your current coaches, create a profile in the Learning Center. That's how we create the new ways of getting your licenses. So we're not mailing out licenses anymore. So we'll get everything done through the Learning Center. So just make sure you get new coaches or have older coaches that haven't done it yet to get into the Learning Center. Plus, they'll also get information on new courses that are popping up. And if you want more information on how we are doing our courses now, obviously it's a mixture in terms of how we're doing it, blended learning. We've got in-person, small amounts of in-person, a lot on Zoom, a lot on Big Blue Button, depending on what course you're taking. So just check our website. That gives you a little bit more information on how blended learning fits into potentially your schedules. Grassroots courses, obviously we're finishing up here 2021. In terms of what's happening, it's been a really successful year. We do have one more course coming up. That's this weekend. We've got Thursday, Friday coming up. If you have a coach that you want to jump in, 7v7, let me know ASAP. That'll be closing tonight. So we want to make sure we get the information out. So tomorrow is when we'll do the Zoom. And then obviously Friday will be the field session. That's a 7v7 course in Mount Prospect. In terms of the D license, very busy with the D license. We've got 3 D licenses going on, close to 24 candidates per course, which is great. So we've got some great coach educators leading those courses. And then our plan is probably to do another spring D license. So we'll hold another one there. But numbers have been great for all the D licenses. And again, this is a mixture of Zoom meetings and then a 1 or 2 day in person. And just so I know, I've had a few people reach out to me. If you have any questions on that, if you want to host the course, really the only hosting that you need to do is the actual field portion. So, reach out to me if that's something that you can potentially do, even if it's within your club, within your group. We want to make sure we can meet your needs as needed. And then the exciting part is we've just got confirmation from US Soccer. We'll be hosting 2 more national C licenses starting in 2022. These are all going to be blended with a virtual 1 4-day in-person meeting. Both of these courses will have our in-person meetings up at Mercy Health Sports Score 2. So registration is open. So go to the Learning Center to register. We've already had quite a few people register. So we definitely anticipate these filling up very quickly. So if you have coaches that are interested in getting to the next level of their coaching education, we recommend they jump on this C license ASAP. So first one will be starting in March. That's the pre-course meeting. And then the second one will be in August. There'll be a little bit of overlap between the two, but hopefully these will fit into your schedules as you move forward. Again, we'll have this, we're recording this, so we'll put this onto the YouTube channel. So again, reference this if you have any information. Typically any meetings that we host will be thrown onto the YouTube channel. So again, use that, subscribe to that, so you won't miss anything that's happening in all of the programs and events that we've got going on. And then just a quick final update in terms of things that are happening within our Olympic development program, just to kind of keep you coaches kind of clear. Some of you are obviously heavily involved in helping us within our program, but just want to kind of give you an idea of what's coming up. Training sessions are in full effect. Obviously, we've got Rockford and Schaumburg and very busy. Our numbers have been fantastic. So we want to thank you as coaches for allowing us to work with your players. Boys and girls are going 2004 to 2011. And then we also have the pre-ODP working through 2012, 2013, which has been a great addition, especially because they're playing in that 7v7 format. All players are invited to attend. Obviously, it's a high level of play that's typically coming to our session, so we strongly encourage those players to be pushed. And we actually have a couple of events coming up. So we've got the boys and girls heading to Indiana, going to be at Grand Park in the indoor facility here the next couple of days. That's going to be Saturday and Sunday. And then we'll have our Rockford friendlies, which are January and February, and then our capstone event in Memphis. And we are looking at potentially doing something over the summer as well. As soon as we get all the details, we'll make sure we share that with you as well. But again, if you have any questions, concerns with maybe conflicts, feel free to reach out to you. Obviously, we always encourage all of the players to go with their clubs in terms of conflicts. But we want to make sure we're upfront with you if there's anything we can help you with in terms of information. And then we was able to obviously send quite a few players down. So we had quite a few of our coaches who've been working within the Olympic development program were able to go down to the interregional, which was down in Orlando. I believe that was at the Champions Gate facility, and did very well. A lot of the coaches that were there were very appreciative of the players that were representing Illinois. You know, we had a great representation on a lot of those teams. And by the end of this, we have now, I believe, in terms of the numbers, we have 16 players on the boys and the girls side that are going to be going to the national training camp, which will be in January. So all of those invites have gone out to those players. So something certainly you can publicize within your groups. So any type of players that did really well at the interregional have then since been given the opportunity to go to a national training camp, which will be in January coming up. And then just kind of a little quick kudos here from the referee standpoint. So want to acknowledge our young female referee of the year. Eugene Valencia is not only the Midwest referee of the year, but she is also now the national referee of the year. So obviously we're doing some good things on the referee side. So we're starting to produce some really good referees, but wanted to acknowledge Eugene there. And she'll be picking up her award at the convention in January. So congrats to her and representing Illinois as the young female referee of the year. Okay. So we want to wish everybody a good holiday season. We will not be back together until 2022, right around March. So we'll touch base then. Hopefully there'll be some things that are, I'm sure, reflections going on from events that have taken place. And certainly any questions that pop up, we'll be happy to answer. But we'll stick around for a couple of minutes. If you have any questions or any concerns about any of the things that we've got, but if not, feel free to jump off. Again, want to thank you for attending. Want to wish you and your families a happy holiday season and all the best as we look forward to hopefully a fantastic 2022. So, and as Jose points out, March 5th, new coach, March 5th, Chicago Fire home opener. So keep that on your calendar. Hopefully a brand new approach and a brand new team with a brand new coach. So we'll see how that works out. All right. Thanks again, everyone. Take care. We'll stick around for a minute or so if anybody's got any questions.
Happy holidays, everyone.